America is back, baby. Sam Mirejovsky here, News Talk 840 KXNT. Happy Monday. A glorious day across our beautiful nation. Things are already feeling different, aren't they? You know, I obviously been breathlessly watching all of the events transpiring today at the Capitol. Great moment there watching, well, not just Trump getting sworn in, folks. I have to tell you, that was fantastic. But when Biden got on that helicopter and flew off across the Capitol on his way to Air Force One to go home to Delaware, right there, that was the moment I have been waiting for 4 years. Sam Mirejovsky, News Talk 840 KXNT. The What's Right show is live and local today. So I'm here because nothing could keep me away from today's broadcast, folks. I am beyond excited to be here. I am stoked. My goodness, sam@samandashlaw.com is my email. At What's Right Show on X, formerly known as Twitter. So hit me up there if you've got any questions or comments about the program today, or if you have some observations about what's transpiring. By the way, as we speak, 4 o'clock Eastern time, just past the hour, at the U.S. Capitol. I'm keeping my eye, of course, on what's going on live because today's show is going to be interrupted by history. I mean, that's the reality of it. So Trump just finished a lunch at the Capitol, an intimate lunch at the Capitol, and now is going to, as I understand it, proceed down. There's going to be a military review. The folks in the military are going to escort him to the Capital One arena, where I think he's going to be signing a slew of executive orders in front of patriots who've come to the Capitol to witness this. So this is extremely exciting. You know, I saw the Freedom Rally, by the way, yesterday. Trump, that was rare form. It was just a spectacular event. We'll call it the final rally of the 2024 election season. Just before becoming president, Trump comes in there. Absolutely spectacular show. A lot of great speakers. Elon Musk even came up there. Trump calls him up in the middle of the speech to give some comments. It was just, the whole thing was magical. Trump comes down the stairs. He's got, a red carpet onto the stage, which is in the center of the arena. And as he walked down the stairs, he's greeting people that are seated there along the aisle, just moving. So my observation, obviously, we're going to get to the pardons. Biden's has been, all right? He is the former president of the United States, and that is a tremendous relief. But I get to the pardons. That's a whole separate animal. I want to touch on that in its entirety. Good thing we got 2 hours. We'll get to as much of this as we possibly can. But fundamentally, the speech that Trump gave inside the rotunda today, after he was inaugurated, I thought it was fantastic. Remember 8 years ago, when during his first inauguration, he gave, well, not a similar speech, but it was a tough speech, and a lot of people criticized it, said that it didn't set the right tone, that it wasn't politically ecumenical, it didn't reach across the aisle. He didn't pay enough lip service to Dems. A nation divided, time to heal. When is he going to get out of campaign mode? I remember vividly all of these criticisms. But guess what? I'm flipping through the channels right after he finishes his speech, and I'm going over to MSNBC, I'm going to CNN, and I didn't necessarily hear that. In fact, at CNN, I heard the people covering it say something along the lines of, well, that was kind of expected, not very nice for him to throw the entire Biden agenda, under the bus and roll over it right in front of Biden. But this is the consequence of an election. That was the commentary on it. The resignation by some of the same people who were actively fighting against Trump 8 years ago today is something that I found to be an important observation, something we ought to take note of. Now, Vegas, I'm proud to report, Las Vegas was very well represented up on the dais. There weren't a lot of seats, so these were very prime seats. It goes to top people. Phil Ruffin, longtime Las Vegas resident, seated just, I think, 2 rows behind Joe Biden. Phil Ruffin, of course, casino magnate here in Las Vegas, owner of the Treasure Island Casino and Circus, along with other business interests, longtime friend and political ally of Donald J. Trump. So Phil was there, as was the beautiful and radiant Miriam Adelson. Dr. Adelson was also seated to the right of the podium, just at the edge of the screen. Very happy to see Miriam, of course, Sheldon Adelson's widow, and a great American. So she was there. And the one and only Dana White, also of Las Vegas. I don't think I need to tell you who he is. But anyway, Dana White was also there, smiling broadly. So I was personally just giving this the Las Vegas touch, pleased to see so many great Las Vegans there representing our city and the state of Nevada. So, the thing is, I don't know if you realize this, but Amy Klobuchar can't shut the frick up. This woman was vaccinated with a phonograph needle. She just cannot stop talking. And she is the one, I think, solely responsible for pushing the timing, the choreography of the inauguration very tightly set, because ideally you've got Trump taking the oath of office exactly, as the clock strikes noon. And it was this anticlimactic moment. It's sort of like if you were doing a countdown for New Year's, and you've got the countdown, and the fireworks basically begin, 2 minutes later, or the fireworks start, and it's not really the New Year yet. It's not synced. And that's precisely what was going on. It wasn't synced up, folks. So Klobuchar couldn't shut the hell up. So then everything gets pushed. So by the time Trump gets up there to do the oath of office, did you see the speed by which Chief Justice John Roberts just rushed into it? It was like he was Cool Hand Luke at high noon. Quick draw with the oath. He just pulls it. And look, folks, I'm not going to excuse the Chief Justice. I know he hates Trump. I know he absolutely loathes him. But all of these criticisms that Trump didn't put his hand on the Bible and all this stuff, hey, you saw that he started administering the oath before Melania even had time to get up there. That was profoundly disrespectful, and shame on the Chief Justice for not taking a beat, because the truth is, as a matter of operation of law, Trump is the president at 12:01. The oath is a formality. It's a necessary formality. It's required by the Constitution. But, whether it happens 2 minutes late or 3 minutes late really doesn't change much. So I'm just explaining a little bit about what happened. The other scuttlebutt, of course, relates to Mark Zuckerberg taking a sneaky peeky at the fulsome cleavage of one Lauren Sanchez. Now, Lauren Sanchez is the home-wrecking bimbo who distracted Jeff Bezos from his marriage. The two of them have been a loved-up couple ever since. Bezos and his wife got a quick divorce. I think you know the story. So Sanchez is this babe. Not my type at all, but she wore the most disrespectful outfit, I thought. She's sitting up there on the dais. She's wearing this visible corset. Okay, I don't have to tell you what this is doing. I'm talking about physics, okay? It's just everything is pumped up there, and Zuckerberg got snapped by a photog taking a sneak peek at everything she had to offer. So not Mark Zuckerberg's finest moment. I didn't realize, Zuckerberg was, well, I'll leave that commentary to myself. Folks, lots to go through here. Not all of this is going to be as irrelevant as what I just said. I promise you that. Okay, and we'll get to the pardons, all right? And I'm keeping my eye on everything that's happening because the thing I am watching for today are these pardons for the J6 guys. I absolutely want to see this happen, and every indication is that it's imminent and that it's going to be done at the Capitol One Arena in Washington when Trump drives over there to meet his supporters who are already in their seats and waiting for the President of the United States to arrive. Like the sound of that? President Donald J. Trump. Sam Mirejovsky, News Talk 840, KXNT. This special edition of the What's Right Show is brought to you by Sam & Ash Injury Law, 702-820-1234, because you deserve what's right.
I'm the best.
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time.
The best.
Big egos, greed, and sleazy schemes. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam & Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way, because you deserve a team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. Sam & Ash Injury Law, because you deserve what's right.
Yes, my good friend Ed Barner texting me here. Yes, Ed, I know it's not Air Force One when a former president is on the airplane. It's a colloquialism. My goodness. Sam Mirejovsky, News Talk 840 KXNT. Greetings, friends. Great to be here live and local on this momentous day for America. We are saved from Joe Biden, the nightmare. The long nightmare is over. Biden did get on an Air Force plane, which, as Ed correctly points out, becomes a special air mission and usually uses the tail number of the airplane at that point. But regardless, it's only Air Force One if the actual sitting president is on the airplane. And, if it's an Air Force plane, it's Air Force One. If it's a Marine aircraft like the helicopter, it becomes Marine One. So even the Marine One helicopter that took Biden, blissfully removing him from D.C., and ferrying him over to Joint Base Andrews, even that would have been a SAM, a special air mission. Not this Sam, okay? Not the host of the What's Right show, but special air mission. Anyway, there it is. Wanted to clarify that so you guys don't think I'm a complete idiot. Okay. Speaking, by the way, I know addressing some fashion faux pas. Can we talk about fashion for a minute? First of all, I'd like to tell you what I'm wearing. Those of you who are watching this on Spotify, who subscribe to the What's Right show for free, by the way, for free on Spotify, you've got the video. We always post it, shortly after we are live on air. But I am wearing my Team USA polo sweatshirt. What is this? Little zip up. And, but on the back, and hold on, I'm going to show you. For those of you watching, wait for it. Wait, here's what I got on my back. Look at this. USA, baby. And I posted on my Instagram account, you can see a picture my daughter took, my youngest, Ava, who is the official show photographer. Ava took a photo of me in front of my house with this outfit that I have on today, celebrating this new dawn. So, okay, that's my outfit today. Now, I wasn't in the Capitol, okay? I wasn't in the Capitol. What the hell was John Fetterman? No, I'm not going to defend him. I see all these conservatives out there who are now crawling up Fetterman's backside, this, oh, ha, 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 Fetterman. He's wearing shorts, for Pete's sake, shorts and a hoodie. He looks, it's just disrespectful, okay? If Elon Musk can put on a suit, so can Fetterman. It's absurd. So it's not a shtick, whatever, brand, whatever. I mean, if he goes to his office in shorts, fine, but I'm not excusing it. It's not good in my book. Casual clothes promote casual thinking. This is a great quote by a great American. Yes, Henry Segerstrom from Orange County, California. That was one of his quotes, Robbie. He always said, yeah, casual dress promotes casual thinking. And I agree with that profoundly. So Fetterman, that's a nope in my book. Can I also, last note on fashion, before we get to more substantive things, Melania looked great. What is everybody complaining about this hat? I think she looks spectacular. Okay? And my only commentary on this is this woman actually understands fashion. I appreciate a well-dressed a woman. I just think she's classic, beautifully dressed. This is couture to the nines. And the comment I have is, you think now that Vogue, right, Anna Wintour, you think they're going to come around to putting her as a first lady on the cover? Anna Wintour, every first lady, I think, pretty much in history goes on the cover of Vogue. And, 4 years ago, 8 years ago, and everything in between, Vogue, of course, gave Melania the cold shoulder. And this is a magazine that featured, Michelle Obama, who looks hideous in pretty much everything she's wearing. Yuck. Like the Fetterman of women. Anyway, she was. Anyway, I'm just saying, we'll see if Vogue does the right thing and puts our first lady on the cover. I'm not going to hold my breath. All right, so let's see what's going on now. Just to be clear, there was a military review that appears to have happened inside the Capitol. Yes, speaking of inside the Capitol, what did I tell you last week? On Friday, when news began to come out about this shift, that perhaps it looked like the events would be moved indoors. People said it was weather. I called my DC friends. I'm asking them, oh, yeah, it's the weather, Sam. It's just the weather. Folks, it is not just the weather. I don't care how many people tell me this clearly was a security issue. They had a credible threat, whether, I don't know, drones, snipers, whatever it is. You got the president there. Trump would be walking down the stairs. And I said this before, there are elevated positions. There are buildings around there that I don't think they can all be secured. All those rooftops, all of those windows, they can set up and they do set up a bulletproof or plexiglass barricade there for the podium, but it doesn't protect the stairs, the path down, because you're walking down these stairs from the entrance from the Capitol building. So I think, again, folks, optimal solution here that this was moved indoors. And I even noticed some of the comments, for example, at the luncheon, JD Vance said, oh, it's really great that this thing got moved indoors. Boy, it's fried. We were out there for a few minutes. The way they're saying it, it's, I'm telling you, this was a security concern. I'm absolutely positive of it. But I will say, very classy of Trump. Two things. One, they opened up the Capitol Arena, Capital One Arena for his, people that had traveled there who wanted to see it. He is going to give them a show. He did the same thing for the overflow room. He gave them a long speech. People are asking, why is he rattling on? He just gave a speech. He's giving them a live show. He's showing respect to everybody that showed up in support of him This is what Trump is doing. Trust me. Class act stuff. All right, we're following the inauguration live here, the events of today, and I'll be back here in just a few minutes. Hang tight, folks. Sam Mirejovsky, News Talk 840, KXNT. Rarely wrong, always right. Sam Mirejovsky, News Talk 840, KXNT. Friends, we did it. Donald J. Trump, now the 47th President of the United States. Joe Biden has been sent off to pasture, has been mercilessly evicted from his nursing home, taxpayer-subsidized memory care facility on Pennsylvania Avenue. This is all great news. Welcome to the What's Right Show, your place for common sense conservatism. So, folks, let me tell you a few things. Number one, Marco Rubio is going to be voted in the Senate. They're going to hopefully get his confirmation done tonight. The Senate is also reportedly, according to Fox News, looking to vote on the Laken-Riley Act. This is great news. So stay tuned on that. Things happening. Trump just got into the presidential limo. He's on the move. He's en route to the Capital One Arena. If I was one of the J6 people that languishing for 4 years in a jail cell, solitary confinement, absolutely inhumane, barbaric treatment of political prisoners in our country, really under Biden, we've no different from China or from Russia, quite frankly. If I'm one of those people languishing in jail, and obviously they can't watch this live, but their loved ones, their wives, husbands, mothers, fathers, kids are watching this, as nice as it is that Trump is having a toast at the Capitol, I'd want Trump to get to that arena and start putting ink to paper on those pardons. So, yeah, I'm going to get to the speech here in a minute because there's some great parts of this, and Robbie really did a great job of pulling some of these out. But these pardons, these January 6th pardons, J6 pardons, very, very important. Okay, well, Trump's on his way to the arena. So we'll cover exactly what's going on there as soon as he gets in. He's moving fast. The flags are waving. Oh, this is great. Perfect. The perimeter secured. This is fantastic. Keep our guys safe. Everything depends on this. All right. Let you know in a moment what transpires there. Now, Trump in his speech talked about the golden age of America, that the golden age of America is just beginning. And I love this.
The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end. And our top priority will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free. America will soon be greater, stronger, and far more exceptional than ever before.
Now, remember, he's given this speech. Joe Biden is sitting, if you're looking at the screen, on the right, so to Trump's left. That's just tradition. It's nothing political. Anyway, and Trump then begins to absolutely dismantle with words everything that has, was done under Biden. I mean, I loved it, right? But didn't hold anything back. Like when he said there were challenges ahead, he basically laid it all as a giant failure at the feet of the Biden administration. This is what he said.
And America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before. But first, we must be honest about the challenges we face. While they are plentiful, they will be annihilated by this great momentum that the world is now witnessing in the United States of America. As we gather today, our government confronts a crisis of trust. For many years, a radical and corrupt establishment has extracted power and wealth from our citizens while the pillars of our society lay broken and seemingly in complete disrepair. We now have a government that cannot manage even a simple crisis at home, while at the same time stumbling into a continuing catalog of catastrophic events abroad. It fails to protect our magnificent, law-abiding American citizens, but provides sanctuary and protection for dangerous criminals, many from prisons and mental institutions that have illegally entered our country from all over the world. We have a government that has given unlimited funding to the defense of foreign borders, but refuses to defend American
right
borders
there.
or, more importantly,
Hillary's shaking her head.
People.
No.
Our country can no longer deliver basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people of North Carolina.
This was
so badly.
Hold on. Pause. This was a great point in it because he doesn't forget the people that supported Trump, because these are the forgotten men and women of America. He called out the hurricane victims in North Carolina. And he didn't stop there. He proceeded to go all the way to the wealthiest of libs in California. They're all victims of this horrifically corrupt Biden regime.
And other states who are still suffering from a hurricane that took place many months ago, or more recently, Los Angeles, where we're watching fires still tragically burn. From weeks ago, without even a token of defense, they're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now. They don't have a home any longer. That's interesting.
Thank a
We
Democrat.
can't let this happen. Everyone is unable to do anything about it. That's going to change. We have a public health system that does not deliver in times of disaster, yet more money is spent on it than any country anywhere in the world. And we have an education system that teaches our children to be ashamed of themselves in many cases, to hate our country despite the love that we try so desperately to provide to them. All of this will change starting today, and it will change very quickly.
All this right in front of Joe Biden. It's just so good.
My recent election is a mandate to completely and totally reverse a horrible betrayal and all of these many betrayals that have taken place, and to give the people back their faith, their wealth, their democracy, and indeed their freedom. From this moment on, America's decline is over.
Yes, 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 it is. And you can feel it viscerally. From this moment on, America's decline is over. He talked about the assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. He mentioned that by the grace of God, he was saved, and then he was saved for a reason. I think, this is a man on a divine mission. Talked about victory with all groups for the election. And he got to the border executive orders. Now, basically, as he's speaking, I want you to tell you that the CB1 app, the application where, you know, you could go as an illegal and set up an appointment for yourself, basically, to get asylum in the U.S. You could show up at the border and go, okay, how about Wednesday at 10 a.m.? Could I sit down with somebody who's going to just let me into the United States? So that was getting shut down as he's saying this.
First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border.
Standing ovation. Well, Biden's seated. Phil Ruffin's standing. He's clapping. Look at that.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country. Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
And this next part, pausing the tape, this next part, very important, because here's where he goes after the gangs like Trenarangwa. He's going to literally go thermonuclear on them. It's about damn time.
And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks, bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil, including our cities and inner cities. As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I am going to do.
Well, and by the way, every person who has had their house burglarized by a South American organized criminal gang can be certain that it's no longer going to be treated as, oh, we got a burglary, whoopsie daisy, let's put, I don't know, Inspector Clouseau on it. I expect these people are going to find the boot of the FBI, of the military, of the CIA, of every state organ, federal organ of government, firmly where it belongs. Sam Mirejovsky, News Talk 840 KXNT, live and local here in beautiful downtown Las Vegas, covering the inauguration today. Donald J. Trump, 47th President of the United States. Folks, this is exciting. I can barely contain myself watching live coverage of inside the Capital One Arena. There is a desk with the presidential seal set up on the podium. This is the same podium that Trump appeared on, together with the Village People yesterday at the victory rally last night. Now there's a little desk. There are some nice commemorative pens, and Donald Trump will begin signing executive orders. There's some, kind of, you know how they have them in these folders with the presidential seal. There's a band there, military band. I mean, it is a show, but it's also a fulfillment of critical promises. We'll get to this. We'll get to all the pardons, by the way, at the top of the hour, because I certainly have a lot of thoughts on that. Sam Mirejovsky here, behind the What's Right microphone, Nevada's favorite recovering Californian, on duty today. You know, the office is closed. My staff, of course, except for poor Robbie here, is all enjoying a quiet day off, a 3-day weekend. But we are here because today I needed to be here with you. And no, I'm not looking for any special thanks. It's my pleasure. I wouldn't miss this for anything in the world. You should have seen me, Robbie. You should have seen me at home when I was watching this on TV. It just kept getting better and better. Today is the day we've all been waiting for. So with that, let's get to it. I just want to go through some of my favorite parts of the speech. I know many of you watched it. Maybe you missed some portions of it, but it was great. I like the Mars part. You know, he specifically said we're going to plant a flag on Mars, and Elon Musk shot up like a little kid behind him and got all excited, a little jig. Listen to this.
Above all, my message to Americans today is that it is time for us to once again act with courage, vigor, and the vitality of history's greatest civilization. So as we liberate our nation, we will lead it to new heights of victory and success. We will not be deterred. Together we will end the chronic disease epidemic and keep our children safe, healthy, and disease-free. The United States will once again consider itself a growing nation, one that increases our wealth, expands our territory, builds our cities, raises our expectations, and carries our flag into new and beautiful horizons. And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
Cut away to Elon Musk doing a little jig. It was magnificent. So this was beautiful. Now he gets into military wokeness as well, ending that. Very important part. It's time for our military to be a lean, mean killing machine and not a depository for a bunch of freaks and mental patients.
This week, I will reinstate any service members who were unjustly expelled from our military for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate with full back pay. And I will sign an order to stop our warriors from being subjected to radical political theories and social experiments while on duty. It's going to end immediately. Our armed forces will be freed to focus on their sole mission, defeating America's enemies.
Yes, of course. And then, in one of my favorite moments, and wait for how this clip ends, because this really sent the libs into a tailspin. It is a sign of things to come. By orders of the federal government, we are back to 2 genders, people. And here's how it was announced. Oh my gosh, this was beautiful.
After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America. Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents. Something
Excellent.
I know something about.
Of course he does.
We will not allow that to happen. It will not happen again. Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. And we are going to bring law and order back to our cities. This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life.
And here it comes. Are you ready? Meritocracy, baby, it's
We will forge
back.
a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Yes. And in the pièce de la résistance,
As of
here's the
today,
moment.
It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
We are so back, baby. We are so back. Sam Mirejovsky, be right back after this. Folks, if you can hear me, Donald Trump is president of the United States. Sam Mirejovsky, News Talk 840 KXNT. At noon Eastern Time, Donald J. Trump sworn in as the 47th president of the United States. And here we are. Biden is on his way home somewhere. Apparently California, by the way. He's got a staying up in Santa Ynez area in a mansion owned by a top supporter of his, a billionaire, probably an oligarch. We're not allowed to say that. Welcome to the What's Right Show, brought to you by Sam and Ash Injury Law, 702-820-1234, because you deserve what's right. I want to get into these pardons, because here, let me have a look at what is going on as we speak. That's right, about 2 o'clock here, Pacific time, Nevada time, and 5:06 p.m. Eastern. The VIPs are beginning to show up at the Capital One Arena. So those are think of this as the dais, Trump kids starting to come in, the grandkids, I should say. And those seats beginning to fill up. Trump expected shortly to arrive there to speak to supporters. These are folks that came to the Capitol, obviously in hopes of seeing Trump getting sworn in. That didn't happen because the event was moved indoors, I believe due to security threats. Nonetheless, now there's going to be a rally, a speech inside the Capital One Arena, and there is a desk set up with executive orders ready to go. Trump is going to sign these things in front of a live audience, thousands of people sitting there. So one of the things expected, of course, are pardons for the January 6th political prisoners. So in that spirit, let's rewind here for a moment and talk about Joe Biden. What he did 15 minutes to go in his presidency, pardoning his close family members, was nothing short of embarrassing. And I'm going to say this, expected. I got so much blowback for insisting that this would happen. And I had so many of my Democrat friends telling me that what I was saying was injurious and was misinformation and was propaganda. But I'll tell you, here's a clip of me. Well, call me Nostradamus, all right? Predicting exactly what would happen. This was back in July. This is before Biden dropped out of the race. And here's what I said at the time about what I expected would happen in the closing stages of the Biden presidency. Let me make another side forecast here. Biden leaving office in January. I'm saying it right now. We're here on the 2nd of July, months away. Robbie, take note of this. I'm going to tell you right now, the pardons that will be coming out of the Biden administration in the final minutes of this train wreck of a presidency are going to be history making. I promise you this. I'm just putting it here right now, planting that flag. They will be history making. Wait for it. He's going to protect family members. He's going to give them proactive pardons. Trust me, there will be some very high-level discussions going on between all of his advisors, his lawyers, the Department of Justice, etc. Well, there we have it, right? For unspecified crimes over an 11-year period, Joe Biden pardoned his brother, James Biden, James' wife, Sarah Jones Biden, Joe's sister, Valerie Biden Owens, Valerie's husband, John Owens, and Joe's other brother, Francis Biden. Baseless and politically motivated investigations wreak havoc on the lives, safety, and financial security of targeted individuals and their families, Joe said in a statement explaining why he granted these pardons. Unequivocally, the short answer on this is the pardons were given to his family members because they all participated in a rather robust criminal operation. This during the time that Joe Biden was vice president, and they were making all this money off of Burisma and other state and non-state actors, individuals, and organizations who had business before the United States and were funneling millions of dollars through Hunter Biden and other family members to the coffers of Joe Biden and his family. Everybody benefited. And these just happened to be the responsible adults whose bank accounts money ended up in. I mean, do you really think, just please, if you are a die-in-the-wool Democrat and you think that, that Trump is going to be, the second incarnation of Adolf Hitler coming into office, is he really going to go after John Owens, Valerie's husband? I mean, like, this is crazy. The reason it's happening is because these people are deep in criminal enterprise with each other. They knew what they did, and he's protecting them. Now, one of these two statements is true. Either they are, as I'm telling you, participants in a criminal enterprise that would be subject to prosecution under the laws of the United States. Okay? That's option one. Or, alternatively, Joe Biden knows exactly from firsthand experience the kind of unwarranted, illegal, unconstitutional warfare through our judicial system that can be unleashed on a political target, and he doesn't want to see his people in harm's way. It's a terrible acknowledgement. That's what I'm getting at. It's a terrible acknowledgement in either event, right? On either side of it. Now, I woke up to news, much as many of you today, that Biden also extended pardons to members and staff of the January 6th committee that investigated the attack, okay? It's a full and unconditional pardon for any offenses. And it also goes back to 2014, I believe. Includes Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, Jamie Raskin, old do-rag himself, Benny Thompson. And this is what Cheney and Thompson said in a statement on behalf of the committee. They're grateful for the decision, saying they were being pardoned for, quote, not for breaking the law, but for upholding it, which is one of the best examples of Orwellian doublespeak I've ever heard in my life. All right? So, Dr. Fauci, he also got a full and unconditional pardon, also going back to January 1, 2014. That means it goes back to when Fauci illegally, and contrary to his subsequent testimony to Congress under oath, allowed for gain-of-function research to occur, funded in a lab, joint operated with the Chi-Coms. This whole story that we were going to get to, here we go. These pardons come down, shutting the door on it. By the way, the door isn't shut, and I want to make a little comment here about this. First of all, my sense, and there's some scholars here that are opining about these pardons. First off, there's really nothing that can be done about them. I'm seeing people sound off on the internet about how a president, Trump, can come in and cancel these pardons. That is just not true. These pardons will likely be upheld. All right. I'd be extremely shocked if they weren't. And by the way, Trump would be risky for the Trump people to challenge this in court because it would erode presidential power, and Trump doesn't want to do that for himself. Okay. So I don't see that occurring. But a lot of people have pointed out that there's a case, Burdick v. U.S., and in the Burdick case, seems to suggest that pardon recipients are only immune from conviction, okay, from conviction and from sentencing. They are not immune from prosecution, which is interesting. So these people could be prosecuted, like Mark Milley. He's preemptively pardoned, again, back to January 1, 2014, almost 11 years. Now, well, by the way, speaking of Milley, from looking at the law, he can still be court-martialed, right? He can be court-martialed by the military. He just can't be prosecuted, by the DOJ for any federal laws. So I have this fact to tell you about all of these pardons now. I believe the Republicans ought to call members of the Biden family in to testify to Congress about everything. Lay it bare. Because one of the most important things here, I think, is daylight and a full autopsy and everything that this disgusting group of grifters and criminals have done. Call them into Congress. Call them to testify. Guess what they can't do, Robbie? Guess what they can't do? None of these people who have these pardons, provided that they accept the pardon, okay, and it's legally binding, none of them, if they've got a pardon, can use the Fifth Amendment to not answer questions under oath. And I'm telling you, folks, don't think that they're not going to jail, right? Because if they lie now, the pardon isn't for crimes into the future. Anthony Fauci won't be able to help himself. He will lie again under oath about gain-of-function research. He'll lie. Even if, and the moment that he tells his first lie, we got to come down on him like a bag of hammers. Off to jail. Arrest him. Throw the key away. That's what needs to happen. I am short on time. You got to take a quick break. Sam Mirejovsky, News Talk 840, KXNT, keeping an eye on what's going on Capitol Hill. Yes, Trump is in the arena, and all right, there we go. We're gonna figure out what these executive orders are all about. So exciting. Sam Mirejovsky, News Talk 840, the What's Right Show, is brought to you by Sam & Ash Injury Law, because you deserve what's right.
The Sam & Ash team, they wanted me to have the best care. They had my interests at heart. I have an enormous amount of gratitude. I cannot say enough thank you.
Hi, welcome back. Sam Mirejovsky here. This beautiful inauguration day. Donald Trump back in the presidency, in the Oval Office, figuratively speaking. He is, by the way, normally, friends, some of these executive orders would all be signed in the White House, but Trump is doing this in front of his supporters who are inside the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. The band is playing. Trump is going to take the stage soon and begin remaking America as promised during his campaign. Sam Mirejovsky, News Talk 840, KXNT. Welcome to the program. All right. Oh, here we go. The Vice President, J.D. Vance, and his family, his wife, Usha, they're making their way down those steps. I described this earlier in the program that last night. Yeah, there's these beautiful carpeted steps that are it's one of the aisles down through an arena. This is an arena where the NBA team plays. the hockey team plays there, the Washington Capitals. So it's, something like T-Mobile, but it's, you know what these things look like. So they've got this carpeted, walkway down, railings in the middle, and so the Trump will pass by through there too, greeting people who are in the stands. This is so fantastic. And again, what we expect are executive orders to be signed here, fulfilling some of the core campaign promises. Last night, Trump saying that we would all be very happy once we saw what would happen after his inauguration. And I told you myself, this is one of the key things I've been watching for and hoping for, to see Trump immediately act on protecting January 6th prisoners, protecting the border, securing our country, and laying down some other objectives, clear objectives in all of this. By the way, speaking of the pardons, one of the people that was pardoned here was Michael Byrd, who murdered Ashley Babbitt, shot her in cold blood. By the way, nobody cares because Ashley Babbitt is white and Michael Byrd is black. So, of course, the Democrats didn't riot over this obscene police shooting. By the way, Michael Byrd has a history of discharging his weapon unlawfully. He's a complete clown, and I would argue is by far the most violent J6er, who, instead of being prosecuted and punished for his absurd abuse of force, lethal force, on January 6th, was heralded as a hero by the Democratic Party. And he has gotten a pardon, because if you look at the way the pardon is drafted, it's any witnesses before the committee as well. And he was a witness before the committee. This is such a giant F-U by Joe Biden. If you didn't hate the man before today, you certainly, I hard-pressed not to hate him now. I know that's a tough word. It's just despicable. Can you imagine? Humor me here for a moment. Can you imagine if Biden had had 4 more years? The damage that Biden did to this country in 4 years, unbelievable. Had he just had 4 more years, 2 more years before croaking, just devastating. And Harris, the same. All right, Trump making his way into the arena now, flanked by Secret Service, saying hi to supporters, people in MAGA hats, people taking photos with him. Just, gosh, I'm worried for his safety. I look at this and I know he's got Secret Service agents all around him, but still, I hope those phones they've been cleared. My God, it just terrifies me. Okay. All right. These pardons, I don't know. Remember 4 years ago, all the Democrats complaining about the pardons that Trump was going to give his close family members? Remember that? Here's a little reel to remind you of all of these commentators complaining that Trump was going to do exactly what Biden ended up doing.
Have you ever heard of somebody getting a preemptive pardon who was innocent of all crime? Who's just an innocent person? Have you ever heard of that? Just somebody getting a blanket pardon?
Joy Reid talking to Adam Schiff.
It's the president's own family. It's people that have been covering up for the president in addition to his own family.
Is there an innocent explanation for someone to seek preemptive pardons for family members? Would you do that if you knew you were innocent and just worried about outside forces?
The answer to that is going to be no. If you haven't done anything wrong, you sit there and go, what do you need a pardon for?
I haven't done anything
wrong. If he pardons
people
preemptively, he's essentially telling the public that these people have committed crimes. And we may not be aware of what they are, but the pardon is clear evidence that crimes have been committed.
I imagine if he decides to issue these preemptive pardons, it will be cast in a way that he is protecting his family and protecting their reputations from, villainous exterior forces that are against him.
First off, we should just take a deep breath and acknowledge the audacity of a president who's so clearly concerned about his own criminal culpability and that of his family members that pardons are a major obsession with him.
The idea of a kind of prospective pardon, this sort of permanent federal get-out-of-jail-free card, that seems to be what we're talking about in the case of this, right, with Giuliani and his 3 eldest children who, as far as we know, have not been convicted of a crime. Maybe they've committed a lot, and they don't want to face action. I don't know. It's weird. I wouldn't ask for a pardon. I don't think I deserve one because I don't think I've done anything criminal. But, like, where does that come from, that concept you can just kind of wave your magic pardon wand?
We have Tish James. We have Xavier Becerra. Mimi Roca is literally my DA in my town. There will be opportunities to prosecute these people regardless if they abuse the pardon power as they are thinking.
This is unbelievable, folks. Beautiful to see. All of them, of course, projecting. Biden did it in the end. Be right back right after this. I am now being told that Mark Milley's portrait that had just recently been put on the wall at the Pentagon was removed at 12:01 p.m. Eastern Time. Sam Mirejovsky, News Talk 840 KXNT. Welcome to the What's Right Show, brought to you by Sam & Ash Injury Law. Trump is now in the Capital One Arena. He's taken his place in the stand. We've got a military parade kind of coming through the hall there. It's magnificent to watch. The music is beautiful. They're playing great march songs, lots of John Philip Sousa. It is fantastic. And of course, the little desk off to the side is set up with some pens and executive orders ready to go. No, these executive orders cannot undo the presidential pardons that Biden signed on his way out the door. You seen the final tally for Biden? Before I tell you the total number of pardons that Biden signed, okay, over the course of his term, let's go back just 3 presidencies. Okay, let's go to George Bush, 8 years in office, right? 200 pardons. Barack Obama, 8 years in office, 1,900 pardons. Donald Trump, just over 200 pardons, 4 years in office. Okay. Joseph R. Biden, president for 4 years only, 8,064 pardons. He wiped the previous record. I mean, literally, I don't know if he was competing with the dead president, Franklin Roosevelt, over the course of 12 plus years, 3,687 pardons. So more than doubled that in just 4 years in office. What an absolute criminal. And speaking of the pardon afforded Mark Milley, General Milley, I'm glad, by the way, they removed his portrait. Next up is going to be a court-martial. He cannot be prevented from being court-martialed. That can still happen, and the military will do that, no doubt, as soon as it gets moving on this. Reminder here that Bob Woodward wrote a book covering the events that would have led to Mark Milley being convicted from treason. Because after January 6th, Mark Milley was the guy that was communicating with the Chinese, telling them that he would disregard any orders given him by Trump. He's literally communicating with the Chi-Coms, telling them that the president isn't actually in charge. Milley called a secret meeting, this is from Woodward's book, in his Pentagon office on January 8th to review the process for military action, including not launching nuclear weapons. Speaking to senior military officials in charge of the National Military Command Center in the Pentagon's war room, Milley instructed them not to take orders from anyone unless he was involved. No matter what you're told, you do the procedure, you do the process, and I am part of that procedure, Milley told the officers. He asked each of them to verbally confirm if they understood. Got it? Milley asked. Yes, sir. Milley considered it an oath. Milley had already had 2 back-channel phone calls with China's top general, who was on high alert. High alert. Yeah, of course, the Chi-Coms were looking to see if they could exploit the situation. High alert over the chaos in the U.S. And then Milley received a blunt phone call from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who, by the way, did not get a pardon. What did I tell you? I don't see pardons for anybody who stuck a knife in Joe Biden's back. Nothing for Nancy Pelosi. Nancy, no pardon, Pelosi. So her, I guess her rear end is dangling out there somewhere. She figured in all of this. Pelosi, I know he's crazy. He's been crazy for a long time. Madam Speaker, I agree with you on everything. Don't worry, Milley told her. I got this. I've got this handled. Gina Haspel was involved in all this. All the usual suspects. All the people that are on Kash Patel's enemies list. Not all of them got pardons. So, by the way, I love that Trump pardoned the entire J6 committee because that was essentially Biden reelected, gave the pardon to everybody on the J6 committee. Well, Biden, it was like this was his reelection committee, right? This whole thing was set up to help Democrats win the midterms and propel Joe Biden into his second term in office. So maybe in 2028, Trump should just preemptively pardon every single J.D. Vance voter, since we're in the business of rewarding our political supporters. Yeah. Anyway, folks, these pardons are going to hold up. I believe that. The question, of course, is what advantage is there to these pardons, right? I always try to look on the bright side. I am, a forever optimist. And none of these people can plead the fifth. That's the biggest bonus. So, bring the whole Biden crime family into Congress, have them testify under oath, appoint a prosecutor, special prosecutor, whatever, get somebody on this to literally go in and, depose each and every one of these clowns, and then make them testify, and then compare the testimony they gave in the deposition to the testimony that they give to Congress. See if they lie. And if they lie, they've lied under oath, they've committed perjury, and go throw the book at them. Right? All of it. So, that's it. All right, tomorrow, confirmations, Doug Collins. All right, so Elise Stefanik, who's going to be the ambassador to UN. So anyway, this is happening. It looks like, and I mentioned this before, it looks like the full Senate vote confirming Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, could happen as soon as tonight. And of course, and Hegseth, we got to get Hegseth in. I think that possibly could happen tomorrow. So I'm following all of this, kind of in real time here. No, it's a busy day. I'm telling you, this is just absolutely wild. And on top of everything, now it's being reported that a Border Patrol agent was shot and killed by an illegal in Vermont. All hell is going to break loose. Now it also reports legal status of the suspect unconfirmed. So some conflicting things, and people at the border are apparently in tears because their CBP-1 parole appointments were canceled. Every appointment that anybody had after 12:01 p.m. Eastern was shut down with the cancellation of the app. The app got canceled faster than TikTok, which that's a story too, if you've been following this. The TikTok ban, folks, the way Congress passed it is they gave the power to the president to hold the ban in an effort to, if there's some negotiations going on. So what happened is TikTok, the ban went into effect a couple days ago, and that's it. Midnight, the app needed to shut down. TikTok shut the app down, and then Trump, got on the horn with the ByteDance people and said, "Look, we're going to broker a deal. I'm going to see to it that gets reopened. I'm going to see to it that you're not going to get prosecuted." And so, 24 hours later, the app comes back. And, one of the best things is when the app comes back online, I'm not on the app, but producer Robbie's better half is. And she snapped a screenshot of this for us. Thank you, Lindsay. And it says, this is great. On the TikTok app, you open it up. It says, "Welcome back. Thanks for your patience and support. As a result of President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the U.S. You can continue to create, share, discover, blah, blah, blah. Enjoy TikTok. Have a nice day." Kind of modified the ending there, but, the first part of it is 100% accurate. What a win. Trump's already doing great, making inroads with the youth vote. Now he comes back as the savior of TikTok. These kids are scratching their heads going, "My gosh, didn't think I liked Trump, but maybe I do now." The next 4 years, there's going to be so much winning, we won't even know what to do with it. And yes, TikTok is still a problem, folks. I don't want it in the hands of the Chinese. Everything that, all the criticisms of TikTok are appropriate, but let's get it divested. Let's get it into American hands. Let's control it. And for everybody crying about it, going, "How can you do this? How can you divest? How can you?" The version of TikTok that we get is not legal in China. Like, this is literally an app that they use to screw with us. Like, nothing changed about it. But I like Trump's approach to it. And I like that Trump has used this to come out as a decisive and strong leader in a way that young people understand, right? He's going after issues that matter to them. So, Libs of TikTok does not have to rebrand herself. That's the good news for Chaya. 2 thumbs up. The deal is in the works. Quick break here as I'm following the inauguration. Trump has not spoken yet. Just waiting to speak. Got a lot of marching and such going on at the Capital One Arena in D.C. So we'll see. I'm expecting executive orders. Lots of executive orders. So stay tuned. Sam Mirejovsky, News Talk 840. KXNT. This hour of the program is brought to you by Sam & Ash Injury Law. In a crash, call Sam & Ash 702-820-1234 because you deserve what's right. All right, friends, what a day. Glorious day. Happy Martin Luther King Day / Donald Trump Day. Yes, Donald Trump, now the 47th and 45th, was always that, 45th and 47th president of the United States. Great to be here with you. Sam Mirejovsky, Nevada's favorite recovering Californian, at What's Right Sam on Twitter. I've been posting since early this morning. Very excited about everything going on. Of course, my email, sam@samandashlaw.com. Watching here live inside the Capital One Arena, a presidential inauguration underway. Trump is there on the dais. Different bands coming through right now. Stewart's Creek High School Band from Smyrna, Tennessee. Beautiful stuff. You've got J.D. Vance's kids peering over the edge of the dais. It's so cute. Oh my gosh, fantastic. So keeping an eye on that because, of course, what's going on in the room. I'm telling you, it's a matter of minutes now. Trump will speak. He'll give his remarks, and then he'll sit down at the table right there, and there's some executive orders ready to go. The drama of this event, let me tell you, Trump, the showman, to answer questions about today's events. Remember, it's supposed to be outside. It's a security threat. Look, I'm going to stand by that. I think that's why everything happened the way it did. And Trump, there's so many people who wanted to be there. So there was only a limited amount of space in the rotunda. 600 people is what I heard. It's nothing. So then they had overflow rooms set up inside the Capitol where the Capitol Visitor Center is. The new Visitor Center is kind of cut into the ground, partially subterranean, but there's a big hall there. So he had people there. And then, of course, folks, watching from the arena, from the Capital One arena. So he made a concerted effort after he was sworn in, went to the overflow room at the Capitol, delivered lengthy off-the-cuff remarks. Again, he did that because he wanted to show respect to the people who had come out to see him, to thank his supporters, to be there for them. And now he is putting on a great show for all the people that came into town who were hoping to catch a glimpse of his inauguration from afar, but were thwarted by the change of venue. And this, I think, is a typical of Trump, a class act. And it's just great. News now from the Capitol that, let's see here, the Senate committee has voted in favor of Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense, which means his name is now advanced to the full Senate. The Democrats' efforts to obstruct that was thwarted by Republicans. It's good to see Thune getting to the business of the American people. We need Hegseth in there ASAP. He needs to get to the Pentagon toot sweet and start cleaning that place up. Absolutely delighted of this. So anyway, this is good news, and I trust that, as expected, I hope that tomorrow the full Senate is able to vote on him and get him installed firmly in place. Wall Street Journal, Robbie, I just sent you this article here, seeing the first glimpses of the Trump Oval Office. That's right. Remember, I mentioned on Friday what happens when Trump, Biden basically packs up, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, pack everything up. And then in the space of hours, while Trump is getting sworn in the morning, the movers come in and change everything up. They replace some furniture, chairs, artwork. And actually, that's one of the things that came of this here is some new art in the office. Well, okay, apparently the Diet Coke button is back. Remember the Diet Coke button? That's back. But here's also what's back. A portrait of Benjamin Franklin and a fresh Andrew Jackson painting are part of the overhaul of the executive office. So Monday around 3:30 p.m. local time, so this would have been about 12:30 our time, Trump aides allowed the Wall Street Journal reporter and photographer to take a peek at the office. By the way, it looks very bright and airy and looks pretty similar to the way Trump had it in 2020. It looks like he sort of put his old chairs back, put some of his old decorations back, cleaned things up big time. So some new portraits. Harry Truman bust is back. It just seems that some of the crap that Biden had in there got removed. The military flags for each of the service branches have been put back in the Oval Office. They were removed during the Biden years. And so there it is. No, the desk is still there, right? That's the HMS Resolute, was the British naval ship used for Arctic exploration. The mahogany timbers from it were used to build a desk that was gifted by Queen Victoria to then President Rutherford B. Hayes in 1880. So, I mean, there it is. Oh, and Trump's challenge coins are back. You know what challenge coins are? You get those from law enforcement agencies. I think maybe also military branches. Don't get mad at me, people. If you're if I'm getting this wrong, but he just had this, he has a display rack of all the different challenge coins. And I bet you he's got a lot more than are just on display there. No, it originated with the military. Thank you, Robbie. Okay, Robbie's on my case now. Okay, it originated with the military, and then it was also used by law enforcement. Okay. Now you get them even from politicians. I mean, hell, I got one last time I saw Stavros Anthony, our lieutenant governor. He popped a challenge coin in my hand. It was fancy. Lieutenant governor of Nevada. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, so challenge coins, back office, none of those, of course, displayed by Joe Biden. He doesn't give a rip about the military or about law enforcement. Well, unless they're the Gestapo helping to advance his agenda. How good does this sound, folks? And hear me out. Former President Biden. Amazing. We'll still be talking about him, of course, in the coming weeks and months, because I don't think the saga is quite over. I hope that Trump brings accountability to everyone and anyone that did wrong during Biden's horrendous 4 years. But we are moving forward, folks. We are in the golden age, as Trump called it. And America, from this point forward, will win like we've never won before, and I believe it with every fiber of my being. Go America. We got this. And I'll be here every step of the way. All right, go have a wonderful day, folks, and I'll see you tomorrow. Sam Mirejovsky, News Talk 840, KXNT.